This Sports Blitz podcast is brought to you by LMG. Grow your business through logo design, paper products, and video production. Visit leemarketing.net to learn more.
JR Sports Bar and Grill.
Grill and S&S Discount Tire. This segment brought your way by Dane Sharp, attorney at law down in Dadeville, Alabama, across the street from the Tallapoosa County Courthouse. For all your legal needs, make sure you call Dane Sharp here in the Tallapoosa County area, 256-825-4631. And we'll also go now to the phone lines on the Dane Sharp Attorney at Law hotline and welcome in Andy Graham. And that means it's time for the Auburn Blitz. Andy, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
It's always good to be here.
I know you're on the road tonight and are up in the Bluegrass State in Kentucky, so I don't know if you're hearing any talk about Mark Stoops. I'll ask you about that a little bit later, but we're in the Auburn Blitz, and we're about 25 days away or so, Andy, from kickoff for the first game between Auburn and Washington State. And, I'll tell you what, before we get into talking about camp and how it's going so far, I think a lot of people – this game is a lot bigger than a lot of people are letting on because, there's a lot of unknowns. Mike Leach is – He's a crafty guy that's bringing in a team that can score points. Auburn obviously had its problems with defense and a new coach and unknown things at quarterback. Auburn really needs to get out to a good start with a big win over Washington State, but I don't think this one's going to be as easy as a lot of people think.
Oh, I think you're right. You're definitely true. There's so many unknowns. One thing that is known is Mike Leach is the guy that knows offense. Washington State will know how to move the football. They're probably going to throw it, 50 or 60 times. That's just his M.O. They were one of the teams that had one of the lowest rushing totals in the nation last year. They come in here they had an ugly season like Auburn did last year. I believe they went 3-9 as well. But they're going to come in. They played much better at the end of last season. Finished off their season with a big win over their rival Washington. So they're going to come in with some confidence and thinking that they can win this game because you read the message boards, their fans and most of the fans across the country look at Auburn as a team that's down and ripe for the picking. So, Auburn's going to have to play a very solid, very mistake-free football game to come out with a victory.
Andy Graham on the Dane Sharp Attorney at Law hotline here in the Auburn Blitz segment of the show, and Andy, the QB's getting a lot of the talk, and that's where we're going to go with that. Just right now, again, Auburn going into camp, trying to figure out who their quarterback's going to be. So same song, different verse.
Absolutely, we've played this song before, but the four guys, obviously, we all know. Nick Marshall, Jeremy Johnson, Kyle Frazier, and Jonathan Wallace. You have two guys that have some experience in the offense. Two guys that were experienced in playing football last year. It's a different offense this year. But you have the two new guys, Marshall and Johnson, that come in highly touted but with a severe lack of experience in SEC football. But, we talked about it so many times. Auburn struggled so much last year, and so many of their problems could be traced back to poor quarterback play. And that's going to be true of any college football team. You have to have a quarterback. They don't have to be dynamic for you to be a really good offense, but they have to be a good caretaker of the football. They can't turn the ball over. And you look at the numbers last year between Frazier and Wallace, the turnovers were just egregious. When you have more turnovers than you do touchdown passes, it makes for a really long year.
And no doubt about it, you've got to have a leader there at the quarterback position. We talk about it on the show all the time, that it's extremely important at any level of college football or any level of football, high school or college. Andy, for people that listened to the show on Saturday, I tried to hurry up and get Cameron Petway from Prattville down there. I thought it would do Auburn some good to go on and get him down there, but I was really trying to refer to some of the other running backs that Auburn came in with, and I was trying to refer to Jonathan Ford, some guys. I think Auburn's got a little bit deeper of a backfield than people think.
That's right. Obviously they returned Trey Mason. He's a 1,000-yard rusher last year. They feel really good about him. He's feels like he's got something to prove this year. They brought in Cameron Artis-Payne from junior college. He was the MVP, offensive MVP of the spring game. He looked very confident. Then you bring in the young guys like Peyton Barber, like Jonathan Ford. Auburn's got some choices there. You bring into the mix the guy from who am I missing here? The guy that transferred from Alabama, Corey
Grant.
Corey Grant, that has never been able to get on the field. That they're hoping maybe finally this year he's healthy enough. You got 5 solid running backs that you can put out there, and Auburn is definitely going to try to run the football. That's Gus Malzahn's. He may be a spread up-tempo guy, but he runs the football first and foremost. And Auburn's, got to have some solid tailbacks that can hang on to the football first, most importantly. And I think Tim Horton has got some options there.
Well, Andy, if Auburn can get some type of consistent play from one of the quarterbacks, it'll make that running game even more dangerous. But if the quarterback position's not a threat and the passing game's not, the running game obviously won't be any good either, because it doesn't matter how many running backs you got to have a balanced offense. Last thing, Andy, recruiting. Auburn, I don't really get excited about verbal commitments anymore. I've had this discussion with Luke and Randy a bunch on this program. When you verbally commit in July or August, I've seen Auburn get burned, seen other teams get burned on signing day or in between way too many times. So it really, to me, is not that big of news. But in the scheme of things and on the surface, 5-star running back Rock Thomas from Oxford High School commits to Auburn. There's still a long, long way to go before the ink hits the paper in February. But it is good to pick up a big running back like that.
That's absolutely true. It came down to Auburn and Alabama. And like you say, we've seen this kind of thing before. I'm like you, that you don't get too excited over these things until February, until the name's on the dotted line. But I have a feeling that Alabama, feels like they're going to get Leonard Fournette, who's the number 1 running back in the country. And, they're not really worried about Rock Thomas at this point. But some have him as the number 2 running back in the country, and then a lot of others as the number 3. So whether, it's good press for Auburn, if nothing else, and it creates some momentum heading into the season. And you talk about, the week before, a 5-star receiver, and DeQuil Williams, now a 5-star running back. It just creates a feeling of this whole team, something is coming together. The season is coming together, and there's really going to be, some positive momentum moving forward. And that's what Auburn needs at this time.
No doubt about it, Andy. We appreciate all the input that you have. Looking forward to it. 25 days out from kickoff between Auburn and Washington State. We'll have more to break down next week here on the Auburn Blitz, sponsored by Dane Sharp Attorney at Law. Thanks so much. Enjoy your vacation.
Hopefully another 5-star commitment. Yeah.
That'd be great. Thanks so much, Andy.
I appreciate it, brother.
That's Andy Graham with Auburn Blitz, sponsored by Dane Sharp Attorney at Law. We're up against the break. We come back, we'll have Luke Robinson on with the Bama Blitz, sponsored by Bradbury Medical. And excited to hear about Alabama's fall camp and all the talent they've got. Luke will have all the insight there, plus one of their top commitments or top signees coming into next year, going to be transferring to IMG Sports Academy in Florida, and there's a little bit of talk around that. So we'll talk about that and more when we come back. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR's and S&S Tire right after this.